Everyone to our Monday, December the 16th, 2024 combined work session business board meeting. I call the meeting to order and I call on our treasurer to take the roll.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter.
Here.
Mr. Moore.
Here.
Mrs. Stewart.
Here.
Mrs. Shiver.
Here.
Dr. Urso.
I am here. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Oh, all over it, Verlina. Thank you. Any questions or concerns? Mr. Bertram?
Mrs. Hunter. Ramsey Hunter, sorry. To approve the agenda.
Approve, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Moore.
Yes.
Mrs. Stewart.
Yes.
Mrs. Shiver.
Yes.
Dr. Urso.
Yes. All right, no public participation. Brings us to a presentation on the 2025-2026 program of study. And Ms. Cotter, Hensley, and Ms. Prohaska, welcome.
As they're walking up to the podium tonight, these are three of our exceptional district leaders that are going to be sharing with you this evening our newly developed program of study for the high school. This initiative that you're going to hear about tonight, well, first of all, you've been hearing about it, but what you're going to see tonight is a significant step forward in aligning our educational offerings at the high school with the district's strategic vision, emphasizing career fields and workforce readiness. So guys, just take it away. This has been a long time coming. Lots of collaboration. It's pretty exciting. It's finally here. So take it away, guys.
Okay, good evening. Everyone has a copy of the program of study. This is our final draft. There's still a few minutes that we will make before we print them, but this is our final draft. And on the cover, the one thing I want to point out before I get into the presentation is you're going to see the icons that adorn the cover. And the icons represent the fields that we're going to talk about throughout the program of study. Does this work for you doing it?
It works.
Awesome. Okay, so with our program of study, the first thing that we want to point out is we are changing from a course of study to a program of study, and this is just to reflect our new integrated approach that has careers, skills, and academics in it. So the vision for our future with a program of study, that our focus is now on blending academics, technical skills, and real-world experiences starting in the 9th grade. And if you are familiar, and I know you are, with our district 7-year plan, strategic vision, left me, sorry. We started in K-5, and this is year 3 for K-5. We moved up to 6-8. This is year 2 for 6-8. So next year will be our starting in 9th grade, where we are actually realizing these experiential learnings with blending the career fields. We're also emphasizing flexible learning options to prepare students for success in careers, college, and life. This is a visual of the 6 career fields. You will see that within the program of study, along with the soft skills. So these soft skills are really important because they're transferable across all the fields. And we really start hitting this hard in the P2T program in our K-5. We have a doctor class coming in. I just witnessed one last week. We had visitors coming in, and our partners, AMS Parts, came in, and they were teaching a 3rd grade class different ways to communicate, because their system, you have to communicate in all the different departments, and they had the kids do 3 different games on learning how to communicate effectively. So that's an example of how we started in the K-5, and now they're going to build all the way up through our high school programming.
So I'm here to sort of detail some of the features and the choices that we have in this program of studies. Very excited about this. I've been a part of about 24 of our program of studies over the years, and this one definitely, I think, does a beautiful job of blending in what the wonderful things are about our high school with our strategic plan and the initiatives of the redesign of the high school. The ninth graders will all be able to choose a career focus early on, which will set them forth for a lot of great experiences and to get them started with goals early on. They'll progress through career-specific courses through their 4 years of high school, and they will have more elective opportunities, CCP options, and dual credit classes. Also, in experiential learning, they'll be doing more or learning with doing. I know that Mrs. Scheibert and Mrs. Stewart came out and they visited us and saw our students in action with some of the experiential learning, and it is just really an exciting thing to watch. We have problem-based learning going on, which our staff has had a lot of training in, which is really work-based learning. It's very hands-on. We also have a dedicated counselor in each of our career fields to do the support that's needed for that. We're ready with our business partners and increasing engagement for kids. All things that have been part of our ultimate plan of redesign. So some of our student and staff feedback has been really exciting to read. We have enjoyed the extended learning times that we've already had because in particular there's more hands-on opportunities. There are more collaborative projects that the students are doing. More creative teaching methods are going on and being practiced every day. In the band class, they were able to detail about their instruments and learn about pitch tendencies, something our students have never had the time to go into. In Spanish class, they did a murder mystery activity, which again is something that our kids have never had, and hugely big engagement in that project. In zoology, they were able to dissect, and we do dissect in normal class, but in this particular extended learning time, they were able to go deeper and understand more about the qualities of different kinds of functions of physiology working together. And that was exciting. And then in the activities in contemporary cuisine, the kids described it as we were able to cook more extensively. I love how they said that. They're just getting to do all sorts of really exciting things. So we're looking for more graduation readiness. We're looking for students to graduate with career-ready skills and choosing a personal path that will enable them, whether they're going to enlist, enroll in higher ed, provide an opportunity in employment, or through entrepreneurship. So we're really looking forward to having them be able to follow their dreams, and whatever those dreams are, being able to support them in that foundational pathway for them.
Good evening. I'm here to get into the nuts and bolts of all this, the whole process going behind it. We'll start off with the design process. This actually started about a year ago, so it's been a journey. We started collaborating with all different staff members. We actually went out to Colorado and did some visits on the redesign process, saw some examples of other courses of programs of study, courses of study that influenced the redesign of it, that really guided the way. We had all different types, business partners were involved, met with Butler Tech, along with administrators. Again, been working on this for the last year in a collaborative effort. Curriculum review. The counselors and I have met extensively over the previous course of study. We locked ourselves in a room for 2 days, literally, and looked at the old course of study and went through all the general information, line by line by line, to see if it was applicable. How can we redesign this? What can we take out? Can it just go on the website? What needs to be updated to realign with the vision of the whole process that we're going to the high school? So we met that, and then the course descriptions, each department met and reviewed all of their course descriptions, and they reworded them to make it more parent and student friendly. So it really helped the students in their process of choosing their journey and what they want to go into. We expanded course offerings. art really has expanded and redesigned some of the things that they offer to align with the career fields to help the students gain experience in different areas. You'll see some of those. There's some really exciting ones that are coming in. And then also the MHA's guidance department is redesigning their website to incorporate the new design of the course of study, along with some of the things that we took out of the general information that really didn't need to fall in there. You'll be able to find that on the guidance website, and we're redesigning to make it really easy for our users, the parents, to access. It's under construction, but when we roll this out to our staff and our parents, it will be ready to go. So that's the last design process. Some of the benefits, this is really a personalized pathway. The students, as you look through, can really choose what they want to envision for 4 years. Before, it was aligned by subject area, and you just had to go down and, okay, this is what's, 11th grade, 12th grade, should I take this when? Or it really went into a lot of thought process of how courses fall into place and where it's mapped out and what year they should take it. So you can really look at, okay, if I want to go into human services, this is what I really should do over my freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. So it gives them a little bit of more of a guidance as they're looking at where they want to go into. Extended opportunities, Butler Tech partnered with them. They have redesigned and realigned what we are already offering. You will see some new courses in there that show a better pathway, a better vision for where students start as they go into the business or the marketing degree. So they've redesigned their components, and we're offering some more CCP classes, and they're only going to extend. We're partnering with Hamilton County. This is a work in progress for 26-27 to offer even more CCP classes. There's a grant opportunity that the state is offering. If we get the grant, some of our staff members will be able to go and get the certifications they need to teach CCP on campus. So that keeps our students on campus. They get the college credit, but they also get our opportunities with our other realignment of classes. Flexible learning, you'll see in there one of the changes we're making for late arrival and early release for our seniors. It's now in the course of study that gives them an opportunity that they can arrive late. If they're on course to graduate, they have to meet some of the guidelines on it, but that gives them a little bit more freedom. They can leave and go to work, or they can leave to go early if they need to go to something else, but it gives them a little more flexibility on that. Honors, a lot of our advanced classes, our freshman students were taking advanced classes. Now we have realigned them that they will be automatically moved into honors classes. So no longer do we have advanced and honors, it is honors and as they move up. So there's that realigning. So that's a great advancement for our freshmen. And then we're really focusing on next year and in the spring, realign our work-based learning process. We're offering more opportunities for a student. The state 2 years ago realigned what really counts towards work-based learning. And we're excited with this redesign and realignment that we can get the students focusing on work-based learning and give them additional opportunities as we grow into that area. So those are some of the benefits of the new program study.
Maryland South.
It's not going
One
well.
up.
Okay. That's going to skip. Is that working for me now? Okay. Turn that off, turn back on. Okay. Additional student feedback from our experiential learning days. Just really great how they got to dive deeper into all the curriculum and experiences, and it was a different adventure for our students. Really positive feedback on some of the materials, some exciting things they did. Drama class, they got to do interactive games and additional watch performances, the flexibility of teaching strategies, just that additional 90 minutes times gave them some flexibility in their experiences. So that's just additional feedback from our staff and students. And the last one to share out is all the new courses that we'll be offering next year. Like I said, our art teachers really dove in to realign some opportunities for our students. They are tattoo history and design. So a lot of our students are really excited about that one. That's coming in. Photography 1 and 2. This is a result of what we did in the middle school this year. Last year, we surveyed our 7th graders because we had a teacher retire in digital media, and we were like, this is an opportunity to offer something different. Surveyed our 7th graders, saying, what would you like to see as an elective? Number one choice was photography and graphic design. So we put photography and graphic design in the middle school this year. It is the hottest class in the middle school. They've got 30 in there. We had to order additional cameras. She has booked every section, every possible seat is filled in that class. So to continue that excitement, we are now moving it up to the high school. So students will continue their passion for photography photography 2, along with learning some things in our digital media classes because we go into Adobe, deeper to that. And then we're also bringing photography 1 because it's spreading like, this is so great, let's continue this. So those are some of the reasons why photography is now extending into the high school. It's all had to do with the experiences the students had in the middle school. Film production, that is an extenuation of what we already have in media design. A lot of our art classes went from a full year to semesters to offer that differentiation of experience, and also allows us to offer more opportunities for our students. We also are moving forward in redesigning our English department. This is a pilot to go through here. We are offering 4 new English classes. They're each a semester. Their classes are going to be written around the English standards for 11th and 12th graders. So the students will be able to take, as long as they take 2 of them, they'll get a whole year English credit. So instead of taking just English 3, they can take investigative journalism or creative writing, and that can count towards their 1 credit of English towards graduation. We're hoping to expand this, so we're starting off small and to build upon. So this is our first experience with redesigning. Instead of taking English 1 and English 3 and 4, it gives us some students a little flexibility. This also aligns with career paths. This speaking, public speaking, graphic novels, gives you that different experience in the students to hit their interests. Building on that, as you start to go through some other ones, welfare is going to hit students who are interested in public service, like lawyers, police work, government work, different things like that. It's a semester class to get them interested in some of those details of that career field. Competitive robotics we're expanding. Agricultural science, this year we put in 1, next year we're putting in 2 because the interest level. Mini Common Grounds is now becoming a course. That was coming around. Cyber 3, it's growing our cybersecurity program. And then Butler Tech also redesigned some of their classes to align with our program of study and the courses, career fields. So those are the new opportunities we'll have for our students. So that is what I have for some of the nuts and bolts of it all. Questions?
Thank you.
I have do you want me to run through all of mine?
Yeah.
First off, thank you.
Yeah.
I know a lot's gone into this. Anita and I were able to go through it on Wednesday. It's exciting, the changes. I know a lot of work has gone into this. It's appreciated, and more so I think our young people will appreciate it. It's more relevant, more engaging, more specific to interest. But just did have a couple questions in regards to, for one, Mid-State. Is Mid-State impacted by these changes? If so, for kids who attend there, I know it's an online kind of version. Will these kinds of changes impact the students who attend there?
Currently, Mid-State is phase 2 of redesigning that. Right now, this will not impact them. We're focusing on main campus on that. It takes a while to get things rolled out, so we're focusing on that. So Mid-State will be looked at next year to redesign and how it's going to flow into these components. We already have graduation requirements that have changed because students have to graduate with a financial literacy 0.5 credit now. So that has already been infused into Mid-State for that credit for our juniors for class of 26 and beyond. So that is one of the changes, but as we move forward, it is going to be phased in, that aspect of it.
And then with our special education students on IEPs, how does the extended learning days, is it been shown to work for all students within the school, or is it better, or are there glitches when we have students who might have learning needs outside of?
So far we've seen a lot of success with the students, but we are tailoring the instruction and the experience to their needs. So a good example of that is the coffee shop. the coffee shop activities that go on there are such that it actually benefits the kids to have extended learning time to be able to spend with different other subgroups of students in a very inclusive manner, using that as a vehicle for them to be able to not only work on their standards, but also to be able to incorporate sociability with other students. So we're seeing some things like that. I wouldn't begin to say that everything is finished like that, but we
Okay.
are certainly seeing that our first efforts in it have been successful.
All right.
I see a lot of that also in the agriculture program. In the agriculture program, there's an awful lot of activity that can be done with the little animals and with the growing garden and things like that, that benefits from the extended time, and all sorts of different levels of kids can work together in appropriate ways. So they're, again, working on standards, but they're also working on sociability and working on community building. And I think those things are good for kids.
Absolutely. And then with like study halls and teacher aides, understanding that the extended time would mean extended time for those domains also. How does that work out? Because in my mind, it seems like it's a long block of time to be in something like that.
It is a long block of time if the activity is not really well directed. You know what I
Correct.
mean? So we're working on that. I think like our beginning efforts in it have been really successful, and hats off to the teachers and the paras. They've done a beautiful job of adapting and really putting themselves out. We're finding ways to figure out how to support them even greater. And so I think that those things are in front of us as we grow through the learning of this. This will be, as I said at the beginning of the year, it'll be a continual process for a couple of years as we grow these things through 9, 10, 11, and 12. And we find different solutions and different ways of working in that extended learning time.
Because my curiosity is that if a student has one or possibly two study halls, then the allotment of time is extreme in regards to them not being in curricular kind of environments. And I just don't see that as being an effective use of their time or anyone's time in regards to that.
I think too, as we develop the workshop approach with internships and with getting the kids out and coordinating with the businesses and things like that, some of that is going to disappear. The other thing is that with our new look at scheduling and things like that, I think what we're going to find is that late arrival, early release is going to offset some of those extra study hall times.
Okay.
So I believe that is going to be helpful too.
I am concerned about that. And then, do teachers feel they have enough planning time to be able to accommodate the extended time?
Those things are being addressed. I know that with the extended learning time, teachers need extra time, and I know that everybody has been very supportive of that idea that we have to find ways to provide that extended learning time for them. So we are working through that, and we have a second pilot that goes on in January and February, and also we have some different rollouts to do in our professional development on January 6th to address some of those options and to talk to teachers about that more. Because we definitely, this has to be a harmonious, everyone in it together way to build this forward. Because truly, there's no magic path already built for us.
Correct.
So we are sort of creating an entirely new way of doing high school. It's exciting, but with that comes growing, you know.
I have more questions. I don't want to take the microphone.
I do have one. If
Go
you could
ahead.
take a
Yeah, I'll
break.
pause.
I'll let you break.
That's why I stopped.
I thought it was explained to us at agenda setting a little bit, but to speak about how the counselors are being prepared for their individual roles for those fields, I think that's interesting.
It is great. The six career fields really require having somebody who oversees and helps the teachers in that. And that has just been a fantastic thing. We worked through making sure that they were finely tuned, connecting to the fields that we put them with and to the teachers. And they are involved with the field trips that the kids go on in those areas, and also with the development of that 9 through 12 alignment. And that's been absolutely super, because they're really taking a leadership role in that with the teachers and working hand in glove with them.
Did it work well that everybody found a field they were comfortable in?
Yeah,
that
that was really fun, because they each have all sorts of different
Passions.
reasons for why that is a good match for them. And so that's exciting. you know.
It is.
They really enjoy being with the kids also and relating with them on field trips in a different type of social way.
Yeah.
You know, because so much of counseling is at the high school, it's help you with your schedule,
Yes.
help you with this problem, help you with, you know, it's nice for them to be able to be with them on these days and to support the teacher and support the kids in a regular environment so they form a better relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's a great advantage to it.
I do too. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
So with the counseling, I just was curious in regards to, well, are they housed within the counseling department? And they're not teachers, they're counselors, right?
Correct.
And so will they meet with each of the students? Is it kind of like in college where you have your, and so my curiosity is in terms of the allocation of students. You were speaking about the interest in photography and how so many students were interested in that field. Is there enough bandwidth, I guess is my question, if there's a domain that is more interesting or more popular, how will that be, I guess, organized in ways that allow the work to be effectively done and all students can have their needs met?
It's a great question. I don't think I have an answer for that right now. And that's because we're just not there yet. What is interesting is that they seem to be looking at this, the counselors seem to be looking at this from the standpoint of, what do we have right now? How are the kids involved in that? How many of these kids are going to move on into that same area in the second round, like as, say, for instance, a freshman to a sophomore? And then where does that grow us to? So they're watching because they need to then communicate that very, very well during scheduling and make sure that those numbers are very tight for us so that as we make our choices, all the new courses that we have, which are, we had about 30 new courses that were put on offer by our wonderful staff. And about 20 of those courses fit beautifully into these particular 6 career fields. So what we've decided is instead of saying, these are the ones we're going to offer, and us making those decisions, we're putting those forward for the kids. The kids are going to make some choices, and then the ones that get the numbers are going to go. So that then organically kind of drives that, as opposed to us kind of forcing it. And I love that part of it because I think that we're going to see some really tremendous things happen.
And staff are going to build the curriculum, is that my understanding? And so they had ideas in terms of the classes they're capable of teaching, and then with that, they're in charge. Is there, I guess the question would be, is there oversight in regards to that process? And if so, what types of oversight? That's you? You will be the oversight in regards to that, and how that fits into, I guess, graduation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, just because it is, I think one of my takeaways on Wednesday and looking through it all, it's overwhelming. It's a lot. And
It is a lot.
with a lot, I mean, yeah, it's exciting, but at the same time, it can be overwhelming. And so with great change comes all kinds of things that you're just not thoughtful of in that process. How are we going to, I guess, mitigate the negative and propel the positive within that is, I guess.
Absolutely. The presentation of the courses that the teachers were pitching to us was really top class. And standards were well laid out in that. That was a part of the presentation that they had to give us in writing for us to consider their courses. And then following up after that, of course, is a combined effort through not just curriculum instruction, but also through the administrative team at high school. So, for instance, one of the courses that's brand new this year is forensics. And not only did it lay out a really great problem-solving methodology for students who have an interest in, say, for instance, police work or detective work or something like that, but also it was really, really highly engaging.
Mhm.
And the teacher did a beautiful job, and actually I think it came out better than actually what was presented. What was presented was beautiful. So
Mhm.
we're finding that the teachers are truly, they're just excited by what they're doing, and what they're bringing to the table is then exciting the kids. And that is what we seem to be seeing right now. Now, we have to move this forward. It has to move forward through the 4 years, and there's a lot involved with that. But I think that we have a lot of different areas of oversight, and I think that the kids are enjoying it. We're not getting any negativity, you know.
Right.
Our bigger things are trying to figure out, how do we provide enough time? How do we provide enough support for teachers? How do we make sure that we're doing all of that? But as far as I don't want to do this, or as far as, You know, it's more of a case of, ooh, when we did the pilot, I ended up with 2 study halls on one day, you know, which on a normal class day, you know, it would be very different. But on that particular pilot, because we're moving from an 8-period to a 7-period, they got caught in that, which they wouldn't get caught in that once we've done the 7-period switch.
Makes sense.
So some of the things we know how that it's going to be fixed, some of the things we'll still have to work through.
Pause again. I think I have like 2 or 3 more questions. You guys, you good? I know that you had mentioned that career focus. I'm under the assumption that it's fluid. So if a student at a freshman is thinking one direction, just for the peace of mind for people that you're not locked.
No.
You have the ability to evolve and change within that. The courses, adding a lot, I think it was mentioned on Wednesday, just for the sake of the conversation, that 2 art classes were modernized, not so much eliminated. And so within the courses study, we're not taking so much away. It's just a lot more options for families. And then I guess my last question, I know years ago it feels like we invested in Abre. And I know I signed the contract, we talk about it, it's very exciting at the time, and then it kind of goes on the back burner. Has it been useful? Is it useful? Is it being utilized in the ways that it was kind of packaged years ago to us as a tool that allows these types of things to be more powerful than they would be otherwise?
I think we'll use it even more in the future, but I can tell you that myself and the team, we use Abre almost every day.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so Abre is a K-12 platform that we use.
Correct.
And we have expanded it even to the MTSS pieces. So
Yeah.
our our neediest at-risk students in every building they get a quick screen. So we are using Abre a lot. So I don't know if that.
Yeah, it's just, I know in terms of, one of our charges is to make sure that we utilize our funds to the most judicious and wise ways possible. And so when we see contracts, and that was a significant contract, to reflect back on it, to understand whether or not that was a good move or not, so we can calibrate moving forward the kinds of things that we as a board kind of want to support or not, et cetera. And so with that being a bit expenditure and understanding that it was to be involved in things like this, is it truly doing what it was intended to do? So, all right, I'm done.
Can you just go over again the outcome, how you are looking at the outcomes? You had mentioned, I think one of you mentioned it earlier and gave how we're going to measure how well we're doing. Student graduation, students
Right.
ready for, to go right into the career, from high school into their careers, or.
So that is first and foremost, is that we are getting kids much more self-aware of the skills that they possess, fields that they're interested in, and what's actually available here, or if they choose to go somewhere else, do they need extended schooling? Are they going to get credentialing here while they're doing some of these things? So ultimately, the goal is as students are graduating, they're going to have a better, more clear path of what their next steps are after graduation, whether it's career, college, all of the things. They're going to have a better sense of themselves.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
I think it's a beautiful presentation. I think visually, it's going to be much more interesting for parents and children to look at. It's fascinating. I hope it's well received. I would, as a student, I would love it. I would love it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
A lot of hard work.
Appreciate it.
So you're going to see on tonight's agenda, this is the first read,
Okay.
right? So encourage you to go home, flip through it, really take a look. It's and if you could pull up the old course of study and compare it to the new program of study, that speaks volumes by itself. So then we'll be back to the board in January for the final adoption, and once we have the final adoption, we'll get moving. Online registration for our students, and really, it's pretty exciting. We've been working a long time for this, And it's really, and also I want to say thank you, ladies. You did a dynamite job. Yes. Like I said, lots of collaboration working on this document.
Real quick, the fields, each field has a 2-page spread, and when we print it, it will look like a 2-page spread. But just so you get an understanding of how it flows, so this is industry, manufacturing, and engineering systems. On this page, it has related higher education majors spelled out to a T for students to investigate, related careers, as well as student organizations that we house. And then at the bottom, it's work-based learning and credentialing. They all say TBD, but we're going to build that out for each one as we continue to build this out. The other side of the 2-page spread, these are all the classes starting freshman through senior that we offer in this field to help students see what could this look like. If I'm interested, what could I take? With the caveat of just what you said, Dr. Urso, they are transferable. They are not stuck in this if this is what they choose as a freshman. They may take a class and say, you know what, I really would rather jump over to ag. I would really like to try cyber. We want them to be able to dabble in whatever interests them as we help them stay on their graduation path, obviously, with their course.
That's cool.
All right, then that brings us.
Thank you very much.
Brings us to our consent agenda, and is there a motion for approval?
So moved?
Second.
Second. Any questions, comments, thoughts, opinions, perspectives? No? All right, then, Mr. Bertrand.
If I may, once again, I shared with you a July through November financial report. This is something that you'll be getting each month now. It kind of lays out where we are year to date and just a couple ideas. There's a lot of good information in here. I won't go over all of it, but on page 3 it talks about current actual to estimate trends compared to the forecast analysis. And revenue is trending about $1.4 million higher. Expenditures are trending about $2.8 million less, and that's a net potential trend of a plus $4.3 million. Doesn't mean we'll finish that way at the end of the year, but early on, we're trending the right directions to have come out a little better in the forecast. A lot of this is timeliness of when we receive revenues and when we pay expenditures. But it's certainly a good tool for you to look at and have a better understanding how we're doing financially each and every month as we move through the fiscal year.
Thank you for that. Can you guys still hear me? My light's red on my microphone. We're still good? All right. All right, if there are no questions or comments, then Mr. Bertram, we're ready to vote.
All right. Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Shiver?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
I'd like to take a second and pause because I know within our HR agenda we had a very special principal who is deciding to retire. I know Ms. Cotter has been with our district for, I don't know how many years have you been, Amity? How many?
34.
34 years that you've shared your skills, abilities, charisma with Middletown City Schools. And so on behalf of the board, and I'm sure on behalf of the high school administrative team, we say thank you. Your social emotional skills have just kind of raised the spirits of the building. Students know when they speak to you that you truly care. Staff, when they speak to you, know that you truly care. I enjoy going to our high school graduation each year because the energy you bring to that event makes it what it is. And so thank you, thank you. I know you worked with my dad years and years ago and have been able to work with my brother. And I know that we'll miss you, but you've earned a happy retirement, and so thank you, and again, I'm sure my colleagues feel the same way. So,
You don't look like you've been principal that long, or with this district that long. You don't look stressed enough. You don't look tired. I think you have a few more years left in you.
I agree.
You look great, but thank you so much for everything that you have done. You'll be absolutely missed. Wow. It's a surprise.
We strategically planned for you to come tonight, Carmela, to present. The same time your retirement was announced.
Sheesh.
well, that brings us to our first read of the program of study for Middletown High School. we had our opportunities to
Yeah.
ask questions. Anything further before we move on to the next agenda item? All right, then that brings us to an actionable item on Bob Roger travel, BRT extended field trip to Washington DC. Is there a motion for approval?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All right, are there questions, comments? I can start and just say how exciting of an opportunity this is for our high school. I do know as board members, we do try to be extremely careful in regards to how we allocate funds. It's our responsibility to do so. I know this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I appreciate that our staff and everything going into this and highly supportive, and so don't misread what I'm saying here. But I do appreciate all the donations, whether it be from the sheriff's department, our local city government, and the myriad of other folks who've came forward. We are confident, and our treasurer has given us this confidence, our superintendent has given us this confidence, that the dollar amount that's allocated for it will be satisfied outside of using title dollars or other types of expenditures, and that gives us great confidence. But to go back to our students, my hope, and I appreciate the sheriff offering up police officers and the other folks coming. This is a big event, and I won't say my concern, but my awareness is that we're going to hopefully appreciate having those types of people there. Because again, I think, Carmela, you said this many times, the first role of a school is to make kids feel safe. Without safety, everything else is secondary. And I won't say it concerns me, but again, it's on my mind that our young people, I would encourage them to be thoughtful, the adults going, be thoughtful in regards to the environment that they're traveling into. Because the worst thing ever would be something that happens and then we can look back and say, man, we should have really recalibrated that thought process. And so just be safe in regards to that.
Can I also add that, is the $106,000 still the amount that we're talking about here?
We're estimating up to $110,000, but 106, it could be give or take depending on the number of students and chaperones that end up attending. But it's in the ballpark.
Okay. And, well, I don't know if this is the time for me to add this or at the time of voting. Is
No,
it
it'd be
appropriate? I think the Middletown High School music program, particularly the marching band, has been throughout my lifetime one of the shining pinnacles of achievement of this city school district. It is platinum in my mind. The fact that these kids are being invited to Washington, D.C. is no accident. If I were in the position of Mr. Vance, I would want Middletown High School's marching band there too. And they deserve very much this achievement. As with Mr. Urso, I am concerned that title money has been even mentioned in this. I feel that in an opportunity like this, I know that we have donations coming in, and I appreciate that. I think that this should be a donation type of event. I do not believe we should have to take school funds to do this. But I would not deny these kids that trip because I think for them it is a chance of a lifetime. However, I think there are other ways. I hope it turns out that everything is funded by donations. I hope so.
Yeah.
I'll just echo what Chris and Anita have said. I'm so excited for the students. This is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the students. And I love the spotlight on Middletown and really recognizing how well the band is doing. But I would also echo, I thank everybody for their pledges. I hope that everyone honors those pledges and we're able to meet our commitment without the use of district funds. But I really thank everybody, and I'm super excited for the kiddos. Super excited.
I'm just chatty tonight, and I apologize for it. But
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight? Whatever. The one thing this does bring to mind is that when I was in middle school, I was able to take a trip to DC. And I know for years and years, our middle schoolers have not been able to take a trip to DC. I would hope this would prompt motivation, whether it be providing some type of incentive to our staff. If it's important for this, which it absolutely is, it's absolutely important for our middle school students to be able to go experience the things that my generation were able to when we traveled to DC and were able to explore the museums and all the different things that are there. So I would just put that on the radar that our middle school young people should be taking that trip. And if we're able to find funds for something like this, my hope is that we would be able to do the same type of thing, couple family responsibility with our ability to hopefully add to it. So,
Agreed.
anything else? Comments, concerns? All right, then Mr. Bertram.
Mrs. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Schreiber?
Yes.
Dr. Urso?
Yes.
Mrs. Ramsey Hunter?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Be safe. Just be safe. That brings us to committee reports. Ms. Hauser, anything
Yes.
to report upon?
Yes, we did have a city and schools meeting last week.
Which I wasn't there, I apologize.
Yes, we missed you. Mr. Bertram, myself, Mayor Slamka, Mr. Cahill, and Ms. Combs, Assistant City Manager, we met and shared updates. The city was shared updates on the town mall, community center, the importance of city and schools working together, and really we shared what we had going on. And this is really the goal behind the city and the schools meeting, really to update each other of what's going on in our worlds, because we definitely play a part in the city's world, thank you very much, and the city plays in the schools. So it was updates, very positive meeting. Our next meeting will be in about a month, and matter of fact, tonight they had their town hall meeting at Town Mall. Town Hall at Town Mall. Yeah, so they, they're really, that's pretty exciting also. They're soliciting community feedback on possible ideas on the town mall, and the city would, there's a QR code out there. Encourage everyone to sign on and provide information and ideas for town mall. Yep.
On the theme for tonight, I'll talk a little bit. The Planning Commission, I know, Todd, it came out that our presence on Planning Commission reaches back at least to the 1950s.
59.
Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And so just want to, again, encourage our city to recognize that our presence there is not something new, it's something valued, something important. We're integrated with each other. We're in the
Yep.
same building.
Yep. In so many ways.
In so many ways. And so as this process, I guess, proceeds forward, I would just encourage thoughtfulness in regards to how we move through this, knowing that for the last 74 years-ish,
long time.
that it's been a piece of our commitment to each other. So, yeah.
Yep. And DLT, nope, that's coming up in January. And Policy Committee, we have that coming up this week. Right, so then that's it for the committees.
All right, then Board of Education reports. Ms. Ramsey Hunter, anything to report tonight?
No. Oh, yes. I did attend the door contest at Mayfield
Mayfield.
Elementary, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
great, so I enjoyed seeing that. Great event.
Do
Thank
we
you.
know who the winner is? Did they announce? I haven't seen the winner.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, voting was over, a couple days ago. I just wondered if there were some pretty cool ones.
Yes.
Mr. Moore, anything to report tonight?
Yes, just a couple comments. With Mrs. Cotter retiring after 34 years, I do encourage us as a board and as a district to find some creative way to maybe honor Carmela after 34 years. That's an incredible tenure in any district or even in the education profession. So that's really outstanding. So I just wanted to say congratulations to her and her family as well. Many of these comments have already been talked about tonight, but the DC trip I do believe in the end that the contributions will come through for reimbursement to the district. Recognize that there are strong opinions either way, depending on the side you're on, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our kids and to be part of history and the inaugural parade. So I just wish them the best and echo many of the comments. I'm certain that there'll be a lot of safety concerns there, but I'm confident that our kids will have a great time and really enjoy their time in DC. And then the new course of study. There's obviously some very interesting new design here, and look forward to actually going out to the high school and seeing some other things. I haven't been able to do that, so I want to make that happen after the first of the year. And then lastly, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you charged up in January when you come back. So happy holidays to everyone.
Thanks, Todd. Ms. Stewart, anything?
Again, echo what Todd said. Carmela has been awesome. I just cannot thank her for her service enough. She's been a gem, I think, a jewel for Middletown. I listened to the redistricting meeting on last Thursday. I thought Wolpert presented amazing. I thought they did an excellent job. And I would just encourage folks to, the community, to stay engaged with the process. I thank the district and Debbie and everyone for the work that you've done to prepare us for what things might look like in the future. So I think we're on the right track. Appreciated all who attended, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you.
I echo what everybody said before. And I also listened to the Wolpert thing and was very impressed with Wolpert's presentation. And I too hope parents will continue to participate. I was impressed with how much input there was already to the questionnaires, and also continue that. Chris and I attended something on Saturday that I was just, it made my day. It truly did. It was, what was the name? Envision?
Envision Middletown Youth Town Hall.
It was Balan Hill Hall.
Balan Hill.
Balan Hill.
Balan Hill was in charge of this, and Chris and I sat there, and the students that participated in this were eloquent, forward-thinking, well-informed, very well-informed, and spoke clearly about what they thought. And I'm going to let Chris, because he took more notes than I did. I want you to talk about some of the things, but I was impressed with the things that they're concerned about. They had to come up with something that they were concerned about and speak to it and what they would like to do about that. And it was amazing, the thought that they had. So Chris, if I feel that I have something that you don't have, I'll interrupt you. Okay?
You're always welcome
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Before that, I just want to give a shout out to Francisco Santana Matos, who has artwork in our State House. I think it's the first time in our history that we have a piece of art representing our district in our State House. I saw the nice article in the newspaper, and do hope that he's able to join us at an upcoming meeting so we can celebrate that accomplishment and his teachers that have helped him to obtain that opportunity. I also want to give a shout out to our women's basketball team. They beat Lakota West, and from my understanding, it's the first time in history, maybe, that we beat Lakota West in our women's basketball program. And so, good job. It's exciting to kind of see our winter sports kind of take foot. And yeah, I'm a basketball guy and love basketball, and I like seeing our young people do well on the court. As Anita was sharing, we shared a little bit of time on Saturday at the Middletown Youth Town Hall, a Vision Partnership event. It was at Miami Middletown in their community room, of which she indicated they had different topics. One of the topics was diversity and inclusion. Had a young man who was passionate about environmental responsibility. A young lady was speaking about substance abuse, and Ava Aldridge was speaking around mental health and the challenges that young people have in those things. it's nice to listen to young people. I was joking with them at the end that adults can kind of give you a run for your money, and really kind of take a lot of oxygen out of the air sometimes, where it's refreshing to kind of have refreshing ideas. And the young folks that were a part of this definitely shared those things. Different ideas. Some of the young people were from different districts. Fairfield, Lakota, Middletown was represented. It was fascinating. They talked about substance abuse, and having dispensaries close to schools increases the propensity for young people to do things that maybe they wouldn't otherwise. Recycling. The young man was talking about how in his classrooms he collects the recycling bins, and a lot of times they're half empty. And it prompts me to think, how active are we? If young people they have a bigger stake than anyone, they're around longer than we will be probably. And so with that being said, to heighten some of these issues, whether it be around substance abuse, recycling, and being good stewards of our environment, making sure that we're inclusive, making sure that people feel welcome in the things that we can do in regards to that. And then understanding that mental health is still a large concern and will continue to be. I appreciate being invited. Ms. Hill did a nice job organizing the event, and the young people really were the shining part by far.
They were. And I do want to add that a couple of the things that stood out to me that I think were good to highlight were, and again, these were not just children from Middletown. They were from the area around. Do kids in our schools have access to the administrators? Because that was one of the issues of one of the children, that they don't have good access to the administrators. I don't know who that refers to, but that was in one case. Another one felt that, because I asked the question, in my growing up years, my middle years, we learned about marijuana as a dangerous thing, that it was a first step into harder drugs and that type of thing. And one of the students mentioned that they don't feel there's enough education for children too. In addition, it's all around, it's legalized now, so maybe we need to educate people about some of the issues, because they cited some references that 8th grade students, I took this down, let's see, marijuana use among 8th graders affects academic importance, and they referenced that, and I thought, well, that's pretty important. So those are some things that I was impressed with, and I think it's good for all of us to hear what they have to say, because we don't, people at high school always hear the high school kids, what they do know, but we don't all know that. Especially if we don't have children of that age right now. So it was fascinating, very valuable.
Good.
And I would like to wish happy holidays to everyone too.
It was interesting. One last bit. They were annoyed with the pervasive vaping. Was my read.
They are.
And so, and it came up being like peer pressure, but positive peer pressure in regards to making more positive decisions. And so. And I know my daughter talks about not going into the restrooms because of vaping and the pervasiveness of that.
Yeah.
And so it's not an easy thing to fix, but I do know students, there's probably a silent majority of students who would feel supported if we would support some of these things in greater appeal. And sometimes I don't know if we do enough. That was my takeaway. So.
All right, for those of you interested in helping out our band get to Washington, D.C., we have set up information on our website, middletowncityschools.com. We've got 4 options for donations, 5 options actually. In person, you can drop off check or money here at Central Office, 1 Downham Plaza. You can mail in checks if you want to do that to 1 Downham Plaza, 4th floor, inaugural parade in the memo line, please. And then we also have options through PayPal and Venmo accounts. And our Ohio Attorney General, Yost, has worked with his staff to set up a GoFundMe page where they're aggressively trying to raise $100,000 on behalf of our band. That is available as well. Just put in GoFundMe on your phone, on your computer, and type in inauguration, inaugural parade. It'll come right up if you want to donate that way. And so far to date, I would say we've probably over 50 people have made donations. So as the word gets out, it's certainly starting to get some steam, and I feel more confident. I know Wednesday when we talked, I felt 90% confident after some of my conversations the rest of last week, and today I'm up to 95% that we're going to raise the funds necessary by the time the kids take the trip. And again, I think you made a great point. All of you that pledged, we certainly need it and hope it comes to fruition. That's what we're banking on. So. Thank you. And then also, I want to mention that our first meeting, I didn't hear any objections when I shared a calendar for 2025 board meetings, will be January 13th. That will begin at 6 p.m. We actually have a budget hearing that will last 5 or 10 minutes. Then we go into our organizational meeting, and then we follow that up with a regular meeting. And then January 27th is the second board meeting in January, and that will start at 6:30, same as our current meetings. And Merry Christmas as well. Very important to remind everyone to have a great holiday.
Okay, would like to extend on the redistricting. We did have our community meeting on Wednesday night. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone that came out, listened to Woolpert. Also, we had part of our population that tuned into the live stream. So everyone that participated and listened to the different boundary proposals. Just would like to remind everyone that that QR code that you've seen just about everywhere, we would like to hear from everyone in the survey. No decisions have been made at this point in time. We're waiting to hear what everyone, we're looking for your feedback. So it's very simple to get to the QR code and all the information from Woolpert. If you go to middletowncityschools.com, there's a link that's going to take you to everything you want to know. So so that survey will be open through December. Then we'll be looking at your feedback. We'll be talking about the different proposals, and maybe by the end of January, and for sure by February, we'll have a decision made that we can share with the community. Also, Middletown High School Key Club has their fundraising breakfast this weekend from 7 to 12:30 at the Eagles. So if anybody's looking for breakfast on Saturday, head on out to the Eagles for breakfast. We're also hosting the wrestling, help me, Dr. So what's the name of that? Wrestling Showdown. It's a biggie. It's a biggie. You know, we have schools from all over that come in over the holiday, for 2 days. It's a pretty big deal. So if anyone's looking for something to do on Saturday and Sunday, we'll be hosting quite a few schools from around the area, and people are traveling to come to this also. And then also wanted to say happy holidays. We're going to say goodbye for a short amount of time, starting December 23rd. For all of our staff and students, and our staff will be back on January 6th. And then on January 7th, the students will be back. So it's a nice break. It's a nice 2 weeks. Hopefully everybody's going to enjoy, disconnect, relax, and make some family memories. Yeah.
Great. Anything else for the good of the order? Are we good? All right. Is there a motion for
So moved.
for adjournment? I got to remember which one it is.
I move to adjourn.
All right, Mr. Bertram.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Have a good night.
Yeah.